This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 2670, How to Quiet the Mind and Unlock Your Inner Treasure by Richard Paterson of thinklessandgrowrich.com. And I'm Justin Malik, your very own personal narrator. This is where I read to you every day covering productivity, minimalism, personal development, all that fun stuff. I try to find the best articles online to help make your day just a little bit better. And my day too, of course. So with that, let's get right to another article and start optimizing your life. How to Quiet the Mind and Unlock Your Inner Treasure by Richard Paterson of thinklessandgrowrich.com. In his book, The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle opens with a powerful story about an old beggar. The old man had been sitting for many years on a beat-up old box by the side of the road. A stranger came along one day, and the beggar wearily held out his cap and asked, "Can you spare some change, sir?" The stranger looked at him and replied, "I don't have anything to give." He then asked the beggar, "What's that you're sitting on?" "Well, just an old box," replied the beggar. "I've been sitting on it for years." "Have you ever looked inside?" asked the stranger. "No, what's the point? There's nothing in there." The stranger insisted that the beggar take a look inside the box, and upon managing to pry it open, he was astonished to discover it was filled with gold. Peak experiences. We've all at times slipped into a state of being in which we feel more present, expansive, connected, and alive than normal. It can happen when you're fully absorbed in something you love doing, or in a moment of profound presence, such as during childbirth, or when you witness a scene of intense beauty, such as a spectacular sunset. The psychologist Abraham Maslow coined the term peak experience to describe this state of heightened presence, connection, and aliveness. I remember being in the Shetland Islands years ago and seeing the Northern Lights for the first time. It was so spectacular, my mind was stunned into silence. Time stopped. I felt a tremendous sense of presence, stillness, and connection in what seemed like one impossibly long moment. I know it sounds like an old cliche, but I felt like I was one with everything. And then the thought hit me, I must run back into the house to fetch my camera. And just like that, the experience was gone. I snapped straight back into my thinking mind. And this is the key with peak experiences. They happen in the absence of thought activity, when something stuns the mind into silence. People involved in traffic accidents or soldiers on the battlefield also report an experience of time slowing down or being overcome by a tremendous sense of peace and presence. When thoughts subside, we're given a temporary peek behind the curtain of the mind, a peek experience into the timeless, boundless nature of the true self. In the absence of mental activity, we catch a glimpse of the gold within. Finding our true wealth. Continuing on from the beggar story, Eckhart Tolle goes on to say, quote, "Those who have not found their true wealth, which is the radiant joy of being and the deep, unshakable peace that comes with it, are beggars, even if they have great material wealth. They're looking outside for scraps of pleasure or fulfillment, for validation, security, or love, while they have a treasure within that not only includes all those things, but is infinitely greater than anything the world can offer." End quote. The riches are already there inside each and every one of us. It is our true nature. The task is to quiet our busy minds enough to notice the gold underneath. Your peace is much closer than you think. Whenever I offer meditation taster sessions to the public, it's always fascinating to see how people who have never meditated before can often have experiences of profound peace the first time they try it. Even long-term sufferers of negative emotions such as anxiety or depression experience peace sometimes for the first time in years. Why is this? Well, it's because, as unlikely as it may seem to some, peace is your true nature. It can never leave you, but you can leave it. Quote, "When the mind is quiet, the peace, love, and joy of your true self naturally shines through." End quote. The Buddhists sometimes use the metaphor of looking at your reflection in a clear pool. If you splash your hand in the water, you get a distorted reflection of your face. When the water is still, the reflection is crystal clear. Our busy minds create a lot of turbulence and distortion, preventing us from experiencing the presence of our true nature. Most people experience it in rare glimpses, on the random occasions when the mind happens to become quiet through external causes. You can also learn to consciously access your true nature through spiritual practice. The conditioned self versus the true self. If you observe young children, the qualities of the original unconditioned self shine through unimpeded. They are present, joyful, loving, creative, and full of life. Unlike adults, they don't spend their days worrying about the future, judging themselves as unworthy, or comparing themselves with others. They don't have a personal story that shrouds them like a heavy blanket, obscuring their inner light. Rather than engaging innocently and spontaneously with each unfolding moment as children do, most adults spend their days absorbed in thinking, up to 100,000 thoughts per day, according to researchers. It is little wonder that the light of our true nature is hidden. How to reconnect with your original happy nature is the theme of my book, Awaken the Happy You. In it, I use the analogy of a lighthouse to describe the human condition. When the lighthouse is shrouded in thick fog, dense thought activity, the powerful beam inside appears to dim. No matter how thick the fog appears to be, however, is only an appearance. In truth, nothing can dim the light of who you are, no matter how busy the mind is and no matter how far from peace you believe you've strayed. Taking ourselves to be the ever-shifting fog rather than the unchanging light is the primary cause of human suffering and unrest. So how do we disperse the fog of unconscious thinking to reveal the light underneath? How to quiet the mind and unlock the treasure within? For most people, thinking is unconscious and it runs all day long on autopilot. Our attention is so captivated by the content of our minds that we fail to notice a deeper part of our experience, which is ever present beneath the surface, awareness itself. The first step when learning to meditate is to become consciously aware of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, to notice that you're able to step back and watch the mind objectively, as you would watch a movie in the cinema. There are two parts of your experience in every moment, the ever-changing thoughts, feelings, and emotions that come and go constantly, and the silent, present, timeless awareness that is still and unchanging, your true self. We unlock the treasure within through learning to identify less and less with the comings and goings of the mind, and through creating a deeper, more intimate relationship with the unchanging part of our experience, the gold within. Learning to be present as the watcher of the mind is key. And the best way to achieve this is through developing a regular meditation practice. It also helps to have a mentor to point the way. The still, silent space within isn't difficult to recognize with a little practice. You just listened to the post titled, How to Quiet the Mind and Unlock Your Inner Treasure by Richard Paterson of thinklessandgrowrich.com. It's easy to feel strapped for a time these days, and with so much you want to accomplish, wouldn't it be nice if you could eliminate some of those recurring errands like maybe grocery shopping? Well, now you can thanks to HelloFresh. Remember those New Year's goals you promised yourself you'd stick to? HelloFresh is here to help you eat better by delivering fresh ingredients and easy recipes right to your door, taking the hassle out of dinner time. No matter your lifestyle or meal preferences, HelloFresh has recipes sure to please everyone at your table. From fit and wholesome to veggie or family-friendly, you'll always find something even the pickiest eaters will enjoy. And I have to say, after trying HelloFresh myself, it's hard to think that there's a better combination of delicious, healthy, and time-saving eating options out there. So go to HelloFresh.com/old65 and use code OLD65 for 65% off plus free shipping. Go to HelloFresh.com/OLD65 and use code OLD65 for 65% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Take it to Richard. I like a quote in there. Our busy minds create a lot of turbulence and distortion, preventing us from experiencing the presence of our true nature. So many times has something been completely innocent, but our minds, in the process of thinking and analyzing, turned it into something completely different, like maybe even sinister, when originally, like I said, it was innocent. Our minds are trying to protect us, but it often goes down these rabbit holes that are completely unhelpful, even if we're wired to help ourselves or save ourselves from danger. That's where the awareness comes in that Richard talked about, a removal of that fog. It's never gone completely. You can't completely get rid of all of this fog and have perfectly clear skies in your brain for stretches of time. But what happens over time with practice, like you mentioned, is that we're better able to realize that the fog is there and then temporarily wipe it away so at least we can see what's going on underneath, which is usually a more peaceful state. And this can be through basic meditation practice, but more and more tools are available these days, from apps like meditation apps to different kinds of journaling, EMDR, and more, which I think all help with this. So thank you to Richard for the reminder. Thank you for being here. It really means a lot. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow for the Friday show, where your optimal life awaits.